be a great investor, you need to know more than just about individual companies. Though obviously that's the bedrock of what we do in Mad Money. Beyond that, you need to understand the cutting-edge trends that could change the way we look at a host of industries. Take healthcare. Right now, we're witnessing a quiet revolution in medicine as new technologies and personalized healthcare are making it possible for people to live longer and healthier lives than ever before. This is a huge transformation that could have an enormous effect on your day-to-day life, which is why I'm kind of breaking form here. I'm thrilled to have Dr. David Agus. He's a prominent oncologist, professor at the USC Keck School of Medicine, as well as being the head of USC's West Side Cancer Center, and the author of several books, including his most recent, The Lucky Years, How to Thrive in the Brave New World of Health, and The End of Illness, both of which I have to tell you are amazing reads. Knew about both of them long before I knew about Dr. Agus individually. Dr. Agus, welcome to Mad Money. Good to see you, sir.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, we're just a huge fan. My family's huge fans of your books, not just because we know from the Steve Jobs book that you've had famous patients, so to speak, but that's only a part of what you're about, right?
Yeah, listen, I watch 2-3 people a week who die of disease, and I don't want to do that anymore. So it's about bringing new technologies and new ways of thinking and changing healthcare. You hit it. Health and food are 30% of the U.S. economy, yet we don't talk about it.
Well, we're going to do that right now.
All right.
And we're going to use it. We're going to use metaphors of our own industry, of which I know that you're familiar with.
Yes.
For instance, there was an outbreak of E. coli at Chipotle. And the company's coming back. I think it's coming back hard because millennials would rather risk the very little chance of getting E. coli poisoning versus what they perceive to be as a natural and organic way to perhaps avoid cancer.
Yes.
True or false?
Well, organic food is not necessarily better. You know, it's a label. And so in a randomized, they look at Stanford and all of organic versus non-organic and no health outcome difference at all. That being said, locally grown is great. There are certainly differences there, and you want the higher quality food. So you can't put a label on things. Locally grown aren't big enough to have the organic label. At the same time, it's real food. I mean, that's the key.
And you want us to eat real food.
Eat real food, and it's not just what you eat, it's when you eat.
Okay.
So when you eat matters. If you graze, every Silicon Valley company has food out all the time for their employees, and what that does is insulin's always up, so diabetes rate goes up pretty dramatically. Eat your meals the same time every day. Right. Eat real food is the key.
Okay, now, same thing with whole foods. Let's use that as an example.
Yes.
No GMOs. GMOs important or not? Because there's a whole generation that thinks that GMOs are the devil.
It is a horrible word, and you know it got corrupted by 1 or 2 companies. So the problem is right now there's not enough food to go around in the world. With global climate change, you can't move the wheat fields of Nebraska to New York City. It ain't going to happen. So we have to use science for good. And GMO has been historically about calories per acre, and they forgot about health. So what we need to do is we need to change the equation, and we have to start to use technology for good, whether it be for making food. And again, GMO foods today are probably not the best. I believe in transparency and labeling.
Right.
To me, it is egregious to say you can put it out there and you don't have to label what it is. At the same time, somebody has to do it right.
How about the RNA new work that Monsanto's doing, which is really still just GMO, huh?
It's, you know, they're all the same thing. They're manipulating things, and unfortunately,
manipulating things. Okay.
You know, it's the word complex system. Any plant, animal, anything we eat is a complex system, and so are we. So you can't get very simple. Taking too much of anything is bad, and when you change one thing, you change a lot of things. You know, we're seeing it now with Zika virus, right?
Right.
You can use DNA technology to change these mosquitoes so that actually the males kill the females.
Right.
And so they can't breed, and then mosquitoes go away. Remember, mosquitoes has killed more than every war combined. Yet at the same time, when you get rid of mosquitoes, you hurt frogs, you hurt all the things in nature. Right. So what does it mean?
Okay, now, let's go back to a less ethereal world. If you're going to gauge yourself, we think that Fitbit's real. Is Fitbit real?
No question about it. Is that we are in the quantified self world, and the notion of going to your doctor and he or she check your blood pressure, they check your blood test, and they stick a needle in, they do all kinds of things, and then you come back a couple days later or call for the results, makes no sense. The new world is you get your Fitbit data, you get your blood pressure data, you're going to have a lab on a chip, and that will come very soon, and you're going to get your data at home. And your doctor's office will be a place of interpretation rather than gathering data. Okay. So the fits of the business world matter. You know, movement over time equals health. There's no question about it. What they haven't done well is put context to the data. So engagement lasts for a month or two, and then we put it in the drawer. Once you put context to the data, engagement will go longer.
Well, what's context?
What does the data mean? What if you do 5,000 steps versus 6,000 steps?
We don't know.
What does it mean? Well, the Apple Watch started to do that, right? Yeah. Every hour you got to tap if you didn't move.
True.
And so all of a sudden they put context, because movement over time matters, and they started to put data in a framework that we could react to it. And I think that'll be the next generation. So don't count those technologies out. There will be a new rise in them as they have more utility.
Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is big data. We are pro big data and the way to analyze it, and you've been able to put in a really excellent New York Times op-ed too, a spin on big data that has actually managed, serendipitously was the word you used, to be able to save lives.
No question about it. I mean, there's some amazing studies out there, right? If you have ovarian cancer, you have a blood pressure medicine that's a generic called a beta blocker, you live 4 years longer. We would have never found that. In Europe, they looked at how close you live to an airport. The closer you are, the higher the rate of brain decline as you get older, implying that our brain needs quiet time at night. You live in New York City, you know, with thin windows, you got to use earplugs so your brain can get that quiet time and you can live long and well. But big data will be an explosion. So everybody views now as electronic medical records as, oh, they're a pain in the butt, et cetera, but they're going to be a source of data. And the people who learn to monetize the data will be the big winners.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Agus, you're very exciting. I've read your stuff, and in person, you're even more intriguing, and just, wow, you just really got it. What can I say? You've got it. That's Dr. David Agus. He's the head of USC's Westside Cancer Center, author of The Lucky Years, End of Illness. And I got to tell you, these books, you can read them very quickly, and I do believe that they will, if you follow them, lengthen your life. Mad Money's back in for the break. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.